Hi all, the first video I did of the effective interest method did not work, so we're trying this again. And just wanted to point out that the first video we did, I was showing you how to calculate the issue price for this bond. So make sure you go back and watch that first. The issue price is the amount of cash that we received. We have a bond payable account and we have a discount account. This discount represents interest that we will be paying over the life of this bond. We received $57,666, we're giving back $60,000. So the bond discount was $2,334. We couldn't take it all to interest expense in year one because it relates to 5 years that we will have this bond. So we have to match the interest to the revenue this bond will hopefully help us generate. So what we're doing now is we're working through the effective interest rate method. The book discusses using a straight line method for calculating the amount of discount that needs to go to interest expense every single period. But we are going to be using the effective interest rate method because that is actually following GAAP. So what we have here first is every time you're calculating with the effective interest rate, you always want to start with your cash payment. The cash payment will never change. It's always stated rate times the face value. When we looked at that, we said that the stated rate times the face value, $60,000 at 8%, always equals the $4,800. Interest expense is calculated based on carrying value times the market rate. The bond amortization will be the difference between these two columns. The carrying value always starts with what the issue price was on the day that you first sold that bond. So how do we amortize that bond amount? Well, the first payment of interest is going to be made on December 31st, 2016. $4,800 is the cash payment. The $5,190 was derived by using $57,000, which is your carrying value, times 0.09. The market rate. So that's how you were able to get to the $5,190. The discount amortization is the difference between these two amounts, or $390. If we sell a bond for a discount, when we amortize the discount, it should increase the bond's carrying value. We can look at that by going through let's look at a table first here. The first cash payment we make for the bond, $4,800. We also calculated our interest expense in year one to be $5,190. And in year one, the difference between these two was $390. So I'm reducing my bond discount by the $390, thereby making my amount $1,944 that's left in the discount. If I take $60,000 bond that I'm paying in 5 years, subtracting the bond discount account, my new carrying value should be the $5,856 or $57,666 plus the $390. In year two, looking at your bond, again, the cash will always be $4,800. And your interest expense will always be the carrying value times the market rate. So if you're looking at carrying value times the market rate, you can find it 58 and 56, which is just taken from the end of the year's carrying value, beginning of the next year's. Multiplied again by the market rate, carrying value by market rate, equals 5,225. The difference between these two is the $425, which is your bond discount that's being amortized or taken into interest expense. So again, we look at our T accounts. This amount from the first year gets closed out to retained earnings. Again, in year two, you're paying the $4,800. Year two, your interest expense is $5,225. Now remember, we should be seeing a higher interest expense than cash payment because I issued this bond at a discount. My stated rate, the amount of interest I'm paying, is not the same as the market rate. It is less. So remember, I'm giving my bondholders $60,000 in 5 years. They gave me $57,666. The difference between these two is this amortization that's happening every year. This 2, 3, 3, 4. It's being taken into my expense over the life of that bond. So my debits equal my credits. Sorry, debit equals my credits. Debit equaled my credits. You're going to just keep doing that for every single year. So every year the cash payment stays 48, and every year your interest expense is calculated at carrying value market rate. Just keep in mind that because there is rounding in the tables that you're using, for the last payment, you have to just make it work out so that it comes back to $60,000. So it might be a couple dollars off, but just affix your numbers so that it does come out to the $60,000 that's going to be paid back. At the end of the day, this bond discount should be 2334, which means that this account will be zero. All of these credits will add up to 2334. You add them up, 390, 425, 463, 505, 551. This account will be zero, so it does match to the $60,000 that is left to pay after all the interest is paid. So that is how you do the calculations. If you set it up this way and keep following this method, you can't really go wrong. Please let me know whatever questions you do have on it. Thanks.